I have prepared a little demonstration for you of a few issues that you might run into when you're tuning your student's instrument. So let's get started. We're going to start with the A string as usual. And I want to show you the two different ways, again, to use the tuner. So here we want to make sure that the hertz are on 440. And if they're not, you can adjust them with these buttons here. So the hertz should be at 440. And we're tuning the A string first. So right now I have it on the tuner setting, and you can see when it picks up a sound, it lights up. So if you are plucking very quietly, then the lights won't turn on and you'll know that it's not picking up the sound. So for example, it's not picking up the sound, but there it goes. So you can see it's playing A, but the A is flat. You can see the flat light is lighting up and the needle is on the flat side of the dial. So when we're tuning strings, if we want the string to go higher, we need to tighten the string, and if we want it to go lower, we need to loosen it. So my A string is loose, so I need to tighten it. So I'm going to do that by using the fine tuner down here. That correlates to the A string. Okay, so now when I play it, you can see it's right there, approximately in the middle. It's noting that it's a little bit on the sharp side. However, when you're doing pizzicato, these needle tuners are not particularly accurate. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to the sound by hitting this button here. Underneath the on-off button, I hit it 2 times, and it brought me over to this sound, and I have it playing the A. So now I can match the pitch. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the tuner setting. Okay, and check my D string. Okay, so you know that says it's playing C, but it's low. It's a low C. So this string is too high because it should be a D. So that means, oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. I started saying that and I thought, what I'm saying doesn't make sense. It's playing a B. There's this other note here. It says that it's in the key of C, which you can just ignore that. That's not helpful. So it's playing a D. It was playing an E. So you can see in the corner here, it says E. Okay. So we need to bring that down. All right, so in order to do that, I need to loosen the string. So I'm going to be turning this peg here lefty-loosey. Okay, check that again. Okay, and you can see it's come down some, but it still says D sharp here. You can see the little sharp symbol after the D, just here. Pluck that again. See that? So that is still too high. We don't want D sharp, we want it to be just D. So we're going to bring it down some more. Lefty-loosey. Let's see what that says now. All right, that still says D sharp. All right, but it's on the low side of D sharp, so we're coming down a bit more. Okay, let's try that now. Okay, now it says D, but it still is a little on the high side. I'm bringing that down a little bit more. Let's see what it says now. Ah, D, and right in the middle. Okay, so now I'm gonna press this function button. There's the metronome. There it is on the sound. And I'm gonna bring that down to D. Okay, so now I can match the pitch. D. Okay, alrighty, so now I'm going to do G, but my G string is completely loose. So in order to tune a loose string, you're going to need to use the tuning pegs. Now the pegs are tapered, so they are larger at this side and smaller on the other side. And if they have slipped and this string is totally loose, then that means there's not enough friction holding the peg in the peg hole. So when you are tuning with the pegs, you have to push the peg in toward the peg box at the same time that you are twisting it to tighten it. All right, so to tighten it, you're going to twist it away from you. All right, and I'm pushing in toward the peg box and twisting away from me to tighten. Okay, now I'm gonna go, I'm watching the tuner here as it's telling me what note I'm playing. So right now it says F sharp. So I need to get it up to G. Now, once you're close, now we have G, but it's on the flat side. So now I can go ahead and use that fine tuner since I'm close. All right, twist it righty-tighty. Oh, and we've gone too far. The sharp light is lighting up, so we're going to loosen that a little bit. Still on the sharp side. Okay, so it's having a hard time making up its mind exactly what I'm playing, but it's telling me I'm between F sharp and G flat, a sharp F sharp and a flat G. There we are, G right in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to that sound function and move the note to G. There we are. All right, so the last one I need to tune is E. That's the smallest and highest. Okay, so if we look at the tuner here. All right, so it's telling me that my E is too low. So I need to raise that. But the fine tuner is all the way in. I can't tighten it anymore. Additionally, if you look underneath the tailpiece, you can see that the fine tuner is actually touching the wood of the top of the instrument, which is not good. So when you're using the fine tuners, if they're getting tight, make sure that they're not so tight that the mechanism under the tailpiece is touching the wood, because that will scratch it and wear off the varnish over time. So we need to loosen that. You can see the mechanism coming away from the violin as I loosen. All right, so we've got that kind of in the middle of its ability to tighten and loosen, and I'm going to need to use the peg to fix this string also. All right, so same thing as before. We're going to use the fine tuner, the tuning peg, because we can't use the fine tuner. So when I use the tuning peg on the E string, I always turn the instrument sideways, just in the extremely off chance the string decides to break. If a string's going to break, the E is the most likely because it's the smallest, and I don't want a breaking string coming up towards my face. So I always turn the instrument sideways so that if the string were to break, it would break away from me. All right, so now I'm pressing in toward the peg box and twisting the tuning peg away from me. Okay, so now we can look at our tuner. We can see that I'm very close, but a little low. So now I can use the fine tuner since I'm close and raise that a little bit, righty-tighty. And then we can also check with our sound function. So I'm going to press this sound button 2 times and raise the pitch up to E. Okay. There we are. Now, because I had to use the tuning pegs to tune a couple of the strings, the likelihood that the other strings went out of tune again is much higher. So we're going to check all the strings again. So let me turn this back on. Okay, so I'm going back to the tuner function just to check. So it's saying that's a little flat, so we can raise that using the fine tuner, righty-tighty. Now I've gone too far. There we are, right in the middle. And D. And that's also gone flat, so we're going to raise that. Okay, and G. Okay, and then our E. There we are. Okay, so now we're in tune.